We are Candor Talk Live, the new progressive raw talk show discussing current hot political and social topics. The host is Dicey. www.candortalk.com.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to World War III. And I'm seriously mean that. Welcome to World War III. If you've been paying attention this last week and past week, you see the war of words back and forth between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is calling him Rocket Man. By the way, Rocket Man is actually not an insult. A rocket is something that it propels itself to great heights. That's essentially part of the definition of a rocket. And a Dotard, which we will get into later, is actually an extreme insult and actually a befitting insult, to be very candid about that. But the truth is, Donald Trump is having a very bad week. And, oh God, that poor thing. I feel absolutely no empathy or sympathy for this man. And I'm supposed to say poor thing when you say someone's having a bad week. But I really don't care if he's having a bad week. We all know I don't care if he's having a bad week. So why even pretend and say things like poor thing? I know I don't. I'm being sarcastic, obviously, when I said poor thing. But why even pretend that I care? I actually want him to be wrecked every week after what he's done wrecking the country. So I'm absolutely not the person who has any empathy or sympathy for Donald Trump. But I do have empathy and sympathy for the American people. And I care about the globe, and I care about the longevity of humanity. And I think that having someone like Donald Trump in the White House and having Kim Jong-un as a dictator and the two of them going after each other is just World War III ready to explode. And the truth is, we have an unhinged, erratic maniac in the White House. We have an unhinged, erratic maniac in Kim Jong-un. Both of them have access to nuclear weapons. Both of them have control and power over millions of people. And both of them do not have the restraint to control themselves. And this is what we are faced with now in this particular climate. We have one raging lunatic on one end and one raging lunatic on the other end. And neither one of them have any concern for the citizens and the people of their own countries. I think personally this is the greatest issue we are facing right now. Because I tweeted out, I think it was yesterday, I tweeted out the lyrics to It's the End of the World by R.E.M. And if you ever listen to any songs by R.E.M., then you know the lyrics to this. If you ever listen to this song, It's the End of the World by R.E.M., then you know the lyrics here. But I'm going to say the lyrics for those who don't know them. I'm going to sing them real quickly because I think they are actually very relevant at this time. So it goes like this. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. I don't actually feel fine, but I do agree with him that it's the end of the world as we know it. And when we say it's the end of the world as we know it, I think the operative phrase is as we know it, because I'm not necessarily saying that because we're going to go, there might be a nuclear war, that every single person on the earth is going to die. I don't believe that. I think that millions upon millions of people are going to die if there is a nuclear war, but I don't necessarily believe that the entire world will be destroyed. But it will be the end of the world that you and I have become accustomed to. It will be the end of that world that we know. The world that we look at, the way that we perceive the world right now will not be the same after these two raging madmen get a chance to go and attack people. So anyway, but the most important part of this is what we decide to do to protect ourselves from two raging maniacs getting us all killed. Because at the end of the day, this is not just going to be a war between the United States and North Korea. And the United States is just going to go over to North Korea and just bomb it to no end. And there's going to be no other countries coming in protecting North Korea. China and Russia will get engaged. And when China and Russia get engaged, do the math. Look at the numbers. Russia has what, like 140 million people? China has 1.5 billion. North Korea has like 30 million people. The United States has 350 million. And cool, add in, some of those smaller countries in Europe that have 60 million and 50 million and 20 million. Do you really think that the United States won't be affected? That they won't come and bomb the United States as well? The United States won't be suffering actual casualties on our own soil? Do you think that's not going to happen when we're going up against two other major nuclear powers like like China and Russia? And Russia's been itching to destroy the United States for God knows how long. And the reason why I think it's going to be World War III, and I think this is why I think it's going to be, is because the War of the Worlds is becoming much more corrosive. And it's becoming much more disrespectful. I'm going to play this clip by CNN that kind of like basically summarizes under the War of the Worlds between the two of them. And then also it talks about what the meaning of Dotard is, because let's just be candid here. None of us knew what the word Dotard meant when he said it. As a matter of fact, many of us actually thought he was just making up a word. We had never heard of it before and realized that it actually was a real word. We actually learned something from Kim Jong-un. None of us can say that we've learned anything from Donald Trump. Not one thing have we learned, except, I have to be candid here, we did learn that you can go from being a con artist to the President of the United States. That's all you can say you learned from Donald Trump. If you say you learned something else from him, then you are a damn lie. And that is not to praise Kim Jong-un, because he's a murderous dictator tyrant. I have no respect for him. But what he did say about Donald Trump is actually accurate. And it actually was an insult. And Rocket Man just simply was not. Anyway, here's the clip.
Deranged, gangster, barking dog, madman.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
All perfectly explosive insults. But North Korea raising the bar with a term that left many searching for wisdom.
Dotard.
Dotard, not a word I say often. Dotard, or a dotard, I'm sorry.
Dotard, I guess it's tomato.
Dotard, according to Merriam-Webster, a state or period of senile decay marked by decline of mental poise. Or, as it translates from Korean, old lunatic. The term is centuries old. Shakespeare also apparently very fond of it, often using it alongside fool and jest. So if nothing else, Kim Jong-un once again proves there's never a shortage of put-downs, whether on the playground or in a nuclear standoff.
Exactly, because it is a nuclear standoff. Kim Jong-un is calling Donald Trump mentally deranged. And then he's saying that I'm going to tame this man. You say those kind of things to a man like Donald Trump, you are just basically encouraging him to bomb the hell out of stuff and then start a world war. And World War III is not going to be pretty. So we need to start calling our senators and House of Representatives and letting them understand that you have to stop this raging madman and stop this war of words and rhetoric back and forth, because that is going to lead to casualties. And we're innocent bystanders. I have absolutely nothing to do with two raging maniacs and lunatics going after each other. I didn't cause this. I have nothing to do with it. Neither does my family or anyone else that I know. We had nothing to do with this. We want to encourage this. This has nothing to do with us. So we don't want to be caught up in Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un's madness. And we don't deserve to be caught up in it. And neither do almost innocent lives in other countries that will be affected by this. So let this be the most important thing you concern yourself with, because it actually will affect you. Not this fake news versus Donald Trump and all this nonsense that he tries to distract us with. The antics and theatrics that he's always trying to do because he knows that his presidency is just basically going up in burning flames. And like I said earlier, he's had a bad week. He just has had a horrific week. This has not been a good week for Donald Trump. And like I said earlier, poor thing. But obviously, I don't mean that. But what else happened? John McCain basically told Donald Trump to go fuck himself in multiple ways. Every which way you could possibly fuck yourself, John McCain basically told him by saying that he's going to vote no on the Graham-Cassidy bill, which Donald Trump needs this to happen. Regardless of what the contents of the bill is, Donald Trump just needs something to look like he's done something, because he has no legislative victories. He has not been able to accomplish one thing, and it's almost been a year. Okay, this guy has been the most ineffective POTUS this country has ever seen. This guy is incapable of doing anything. And so here comes Graham and Cassidy trying to save Donald Trump's ass, and here comes John McCain saying, absolutely not, you won't be saving his ass today. Oh, no, let me shut all that down. And let me just preface what I'm going to say about John McCain by saying this. If you're one of those people like me who always thought that, John McCain had said things that were offensive, or he did things that you actually liked, and you're one of those people today saying, what's the big deal? I mean, oh my God, are you serious? So he did the right thing for once, and now, he's all of a sudden a hero, and that was courage? Yes, it was. It's one of the most courageous things you can possibly do. You know what he did? He went against his own party and his best friends, and he put the greater good above politics. He's decided that he was going to side with the American people. That is a difficult thing to do in this political climate. It is very courageous what he did. Period. And you can be mad about the things that he's previously done, the same way you can be mad at Kim Jong-un for being a murderous dictator, but doesn't mean that him calling Donald Trump a dotard is not accurate. You cannot be acting like John McCain going against his own party is not a big deal in the country that we live in when we have a corrupt D.C. establishment. Don't act like what John McCain did isn't courageous. It was courageous. And as a matter of fact, it's confirmed, because I'm going to play this clip by CNN that tells you that he's going to vote no on this bill. Here's the clip.
Our Republican effort to overturn Obamacare, Senator John McCain says he will vote no on the new bill being considered. I want to read his full statement just in. I'm reading this quote, so bear with me. He says, "As I have repeatedly stressed, healthcare reform legislation ought to be the product of regular order in the Senate. Committees of jurisdiction should mark up legislation with input from all committee members and send their bill to the floor for debate and amendment. That is the only way we might achieve bipartisan consensus on lasting reform, without which a policy that affects 1/5 of our economy and every single American family will be subject to reversal with every change of administration and congressional majority. I would consider supporting legislation similar to that offered by my friends Senators Graham and Cassidy were the product of extensive hearings, debate, and amendment. But that has not been the case. Instead, the specter of September 30th budget reconciliation deadline has hung over this entire process. We should not be content to pass healthcare legislation on a party line basis, as Democrats did when they rammed Obamacare through Congress in 2009. If we do so, our success could be as short-lived as theirs when the political winds shift, as they regularly do. The issue is too important, and too many lives are at risk for us to leave the American people guessing from one election to the next whether and how they will acquire health insurance. A bill of this impact requires a bipartisan approach. Senators Alexander and Murray have been negotiating in good faith to fix some of the problems with Obamacare. But I fear that the prospect of one last attempt at a strictly Republican bill has left the impression that their efforts cannot succeed. I hope they will resume their work should this last attempt at a bipartisan solution fail. I cannot, in good conscience, vote for the Graham-Cassidy proposal. I believe we could do better working together, Republicans and Democrats, and have not yet really tried, nor could I support it without knowing how much it will cost, how it will affect insurance premiums, and how many people will be helped or hurt by it. Without a full CBO score, which won't be available by the end of the month, we won't have reliable answers to any of those questions. I take no pleasure in announcing my opposition. Far from it. The bill's authors are my dear friends, and I think the world of them. I know they are acting consistently with their beliefs and sense of what is best for this country. So am I. I hope that in the months ahead, we can join with colleagues on both sides of the aisle to arrive at a compromise solution that is acceptable to most of us and serves the interests of Americans as best we can. Breaking news in the...
Okay, so if you heard that clip and you don't think that that's a profile in courage, then you're just ignorant. It is very difficult to do what he just did. And now he's also going to face the wrath of Donald Trump and all his unhinged supporters. You know, the cult 45. Because that's what it is. It's a cult. It's just completely a cult. They're so angry with him. And despite the fact that Trump has betrayed them multiple times, he's lied to them, he's not accomplished anything that he promised them, they're still angry with John McCain because John McCain decided to vote with a Democrat. These people don't care about the United States. They just care about being part of a party and being affiliated with a party. It's a cult. And you have to support your party irrespective of what they do, even if it offends humanity. You should just go ahead and support them. That's the kind of party that they are. But John McCain is a hero, and he just made Donald Trump's week very, very bad. A little boo-boo for Donald Trump. But the truth is, if we get more people like John McCain standing up, the bill is effectively dead. And I presume it's effectively dead right now. And I would go out on a limb and say the bill is basically dead now. And that's because John McCain decided to stand up. And because he decided to stand up, I'm sure he'll probably encourage other people to want to stand up too, like Senator Collins. And if that happens, it seems like it'll be Rand Paul, Senator Collins, and John McCain. And if that is it, that's game, set, match. So thank John McCain. Whether you like his politics, whether you're liberal, or whether you're, a conservative, whether you're a moderate, it doesn't matter. If you think what he did was the right thing to do, which you should think is the right thing to do since he just saved millions of people their health care, then you should be congratulating John McCain for standing up and being courageous. And that's exactly what he did. So anyway, I'm going to take a break. Feeling pretty good because I know that Donald Trump has had the worst week. Feeling pretty bad because I feel like he's inflicting his terrible weeks on us by getting into the war of the words with Kim Jong-un and sending us into nuclear war. But honestly, when I take this break, I feel pretty good knowing that we have people like John McCain who are willing to stand up and do the right thing when it is so unpopular. I think that might be our saving grace, and that's probably what's going to save us from World War III. People like John McCain who have the power to make a difference, and they do it. And they did it to Donald Trump. I'm about to take a break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming back on because I'm trying to make these shows shorter. No one has an attention span that's just going to sit around listening to me talk for 45 minutes. I just don't think it's a smart thing to do, so I'm making the show shorter. I want to talk about something that I think is very important to me and something that I've been tweeting about all day, and it's this hashtag called TakeAKnee. And it basically it sparked on Twitter because Donald Trump decided he was going to disinvite Steph Curry from the White House, even though Steph Curry had already told his dumbass that he was not coming. So I don't know how you disinvite somebody who was already not coming, but that's just the level of stupidity we're having to deal with this madman in the White House. So anyway, Trump, with his ego being so completely fragile, and him now trying to use black athletes as his punching bag to be able to gain favor with his white racists, he decides to go after Steph Curry and say, if you're not going to come see me in the White House, then I'm just not going to invite you anymore. That's essentially what he did, like a crying baby. He just got on Twitter and just basically started crying because of Steph Curry doesn't want to go see Donald Trump at the White House. Steph Curry's already been to the White House. He saw the last president we have ever actually had, and that was President Barack Obama. He actually did go to the White House, and he saw him there. And if you listened to the show and you didn't like what I said, you probably should click pause or go watch something else. But yeah, like I did just say that. The last president the United States ever had was President Barack Obama. And Steph Curry did go to the White House. He already saw a president. He doesn't want to go see an imposter. So, disinviting somebody that wasn't going just didn't work. But nevertheless, LeBron James saw that, and he tweeted out and called Donald Trump, "You bum." And that tweet has literally got almost 1 million likes. It might even be at 1 million likes right now. He literally called Donald Trump a bum. So this week, Donald Trump has been called a dotard. He's been called a bum. He was called a madman. I think he was called a deranged lunatic by Kim. So he just, I mean, the names are just, oh, wow. They're just like overwhelming at this point. I mean, he just being insulted left, right, and center, and deservedly so, though, by the way. I have to make sure that's very clear. But this TakeAKnee protest, I want to be very clear to all those people who claim that they're patriots and claim that it's an insult to veterans or it's an insult to the flag by taking a knee. If you are truly a patriot, you believe in patriotism, then you believe that individuals have the right to take a knee. See, people act as though freedom is actually free. Part of freedom is the ability to do those kind of things. Take a knee, a peaceful protest against what you believe is an injustice. And we have a raging madman that was in the White House, who's basically telling people you don't have the right to take a knee. And he actually called Colin-Kaepernick's mom a bitch because he called Colin Kaepernick a son of a bitch. So he has actually the audacity to basically, as the President of the United States, insult the Constitution of the United States, which gives you, in the First Amendment, the right to basically freely express yourself. And part of that expression is the right to protest. And when people decide to take a knee, it's not because they are disrespecting the flag. It's because they recognize and respect those veterans and those soldiers and those military personnel and all those people that have gone out there and fought to make sure that they kept this country a free country. And part of that freedom is the freedom to protest. And the reason why people are taking a knee in this country, outside of the fact that they have the right to do so because veterans and other people have fought to make sure this country stayed free. And the rest of us will also continue to fight to make sure this country stays free, even though we have an authoritarian maniac in the White House. But the reason why these protests are actually even happening is because you are seeing unarmed civilians being killed by police. And there's absolutely no recourse. And consistently, those victims are black people. And it's not just black people getting killed. And you can say, oh, you look at the statistics, there's really not that much police brutality. They don't kill as many people. Why don't you go look at Chicago? Because Chicago is so bad. Why don't you go care about your own neighborhoods? It's so ridiculous. If a black person kills another black person and they're caught, they're going to prison. If a cop kills a black person, they're walking away and probably getting a GoFundMe account. A man just walked scot-free after being caught on tape saying, I'm going to kill this motherfucker, and then goes and kills him and plants a gun. And that is allegedly a police officer. Those are the kind of things that black people continuously have to see, and the black things that we have to endure as black people that make us so highly offended by people pretending as though it is improper for a person to take a knee and to object to these injustices. Taking a knee is a way of symbolically saying, I don't appreciate what you are doing, and you are not respecting that flag and the principles that surround that flag and the principles that have allegedly supposed to be grounded and rooted in this country. You're not respecting it as a country. And I'm not going to stand up until you do. That is the right of any individual. As a matter of fact, I intend to take a knee every time I hear the national anthem until people want to have a real conversation about the issues we actually are facing as a country. And it's not just black people that are getting killed by police and there is no recourse. It is also white people who are getting killed by police and there is no recourse. There was just a video that was circulating on the internet right now, a man being killed in California, just being shot dead. He was white by the police. The police officer just loaded him up with bullets. No one said anything. You have a kid that's has some mental issues who's killed on a campus, who's I think is gay and maybe might have been suicidal or whatever, but who's killed on campus. It's not just a black and white issue. It is about American people. It's about America. It is about protecting civilians from police brutality. It's protecting people from state action. It's ensuring that everybody is treated equally, no matter whether you wear a badge or you don't. So if you have a problem with people taking a knee and you keep on talking about all the veterans and what they did, my brother is a major, and I think he's a colonel now in the United States Air Force, so don't give me your bullshit. I have people in my family who have been in the Army. I have a cousin who died in basic training, so don't give me your bullshit. Freedom is not free. And when you have an authoritarian, totalitarian tyrant like Donald Trump in the White House, who is telling you that you don't have the right to take a knee, you need to take a fucking knee and remind that piece of shit that you have every fucking right to take a knee. And that those veterans are out there fighting every day, and that draft-ass Dodger that's in there in the White House, when they're out there fighting every day, they're fighting so that you have that right. And if you go look at a lot of the veterans on Twitter, that's exactly what the fuck they're saying. So I'm going to take a knee, and I will comfortably take a knee. And I'm going to take a knee until my knees continue to break. And I said before on Twitter, and I mean this, I'd rather die on my knees than stand up like a coward. I'll be right back. right, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning into the show today, and I'm about to close this out. Don't forget to go to SylviaExpress.com. It's Sylvia with a Y, so it's SylviaExpress.com. All right, don't forget to go there because I'm going to try to post stuff sometimes, and I'm going to post these videos too of the show if you didn't get an opportunity to watch it. So just make sure that you go there and check it out. And also, don't forget to come on Wednesdays. I'm going to try to do these. Like, I'm telling you guys, I keep trying, but like, I'm a lawyer too, so I have another job, and I have to work, and I'm a mother too, and so I have to make sure I'm a mother. And so that's important. But I think these shows are important too. I think everybody's speaking out. Whatever platform you feel like you want to use, speak out, stand up. Don't let this raging maniac do any more damage to us as a country and to us as a people. We are better than this, and we will overcome this. I'm telling you guys right now, we're going to overcome this. And when we rebuild, we're going to rebuild this country in the image we actually know it should be and what it was intended to be, right? A country that is diverse, that is strong, that is powerful, that is humane, and that is just. And we're going to make sure that there's economic wherewithal for its people. That's something they haven't done in a long time. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Peace.
Thank you.